everybody. This is Rich Hanlin, and today I got something a little different for you. We've talked about taking a practice swing at a faith-based group that we can actually talk about our faith, talk about our testimony, share our stories with each other, share thoughts on Bible verses, to how it inspires us, how it helps us through hard times. You know, there's something incredible that happens when you speak your testimony verbally. And believe me, it's not easy to do. Speaking in front of people, sharing that point in time when you got to that place, and everybody's place is different at different times. When you said yes to God and you went from being a sinner to a Christ follower. And, you know, someone had to remind me, we still sin, but I'm no longer a sinner. I'm just a Christian who falls back sometime in sins because I've been forgiven already. And I had to remember that. And that's one thing I like about my men's group. There's incredible mentors for me. But today I was going to take a crack at my testimony and see how it comes across. A lot of people say your testimony could scare people. It could turn people off. And the truth is, I'm kind of past that point now that I really don't care. If it reaches one person that helps them find their way to God, then it was all worth it, right? But my testimony is a little different. And a lot of people have these aha moments, but I grew up in a Christian house. At least what I thought was a Christian house. I mean, we got fixed up. I had a mom, I had a dad, they were married. We had 4 kids. I was one of 4 kids, third oldest. And then I had a younger sister, 2 older brothers. Man, we looked good on Sundays. We were Christians. The church would say, wow, look at that family. That's what Christianity is about. But yet we'd go home and we'd live a different life that I could remember. I remember my dad when I was 7, letting my mom know that he couldn't live a lie anymore, that he needed to leave and move to San Francisco because he wanted to be true to his own feelings. And my dad decided that he was gay, which I didn't really understand back then, but that was a safe place for him to go. And he left my mom and 4 kids. My mom had a high school diploma. We were the family on Sundays. My dad was a deacon in the church, and all of a sudden my dad was gone because he needed to be true to himself. I love him. He's passed away, is what it is. But, you know, that was Christianity. Let's go a step further. You know, my brother Ron, he passed away a little over a year ago. He took the male role in the house, and, you know, he's going to show me how to be a man. Again, we looked good on Sundays, but the other 6 days of the week, he was whooping my ass. And sometimes he whooped me pretty good. By the time I got into school, middle school to junior high to high school, there wasn't too many kids at that level that could hit as hard as my brother. So I could take it, I guess. And somehow when you can take it, people think you're good in sports because you're a tough guy. They didn't realize what it took to get there. It took a lot of ass whoopings from a brother who, by the time he was 14, was like, 6'4" and very strong. And by the way, I love my brother Ron. But again, what I'm getting at is, to the world, we were Christians on Sunday. You know, you keep going on, and that's what I grew up with. We grew up in the church. I thought I believed, but what I believed was maybe a little distorted on what the true relationship was about. And so my testimony for Rich Hanlin, it really starts in 2018. I think that was the point in time when Jesus finally said, hey, I've let you go as far as I can let you go, but I've got some work for you to do. And so I'm going to go ahead and break you now so I can build you up in me. And that's where I'm going to pick up at. So I'm going to read this a little bit, and nothing wrong with that. My name is Rich Hanlin, and when Jesus died on the cross, a sinless human in between 2 criminals, all being crucified, the one on the right was a murderer, worthy of nothing more than death, and in death he still was nothing more than sin. But on Jesus' left was a second murderer. He could not earn salvation. He could not buy his salvation. He could not negotiate his salvation. But in his last breaths, he called out to Jesus and asked for forgiveness. On the cross, Jesus told him, "Today you will be with me in paradise." I identify as the man on the left. Life had broken me. I had nothing left to give. I had nothing left to say. I could not sink any lower other than to dig a hole and put a gun into my mouth and a finger on the trigger. But in that moment when I hit rock bottom, I found that Jesus was the rock at the bottom. And one day at a time, one breath, one moment, every fear laid wide open, I exposed it all to Jesus. And that's not easy to do, but I was broken and I laid it all out. I had nothing left to hide. You can't hide from Jesus anyways. Not that he didn't already know, but he needed me to confess it, to give in and to ask him to be the Lord of my life. He kept filling my head with thoughts, but one thought was very clear. I have been with you this whole time. You have never been alone. It's always been you and me, and together we will be okay. Who is Jesus? Well, he's the light in the dark. He's the rock at the bottom. Who is Jesus to me? He is everything. I have been lower than low, so nothing can ever beat me down again. I have had nothing. I have gained everything, and I know it's like to lose it all and have to go back to nothing. Jesus took the fear and the failure out of my life, and he replaced it with this crazy thought process that I can do anything as long as I was saying yes to him first. When I gave in and let Jesus have his way in me, Jesus started to push me. He started to pull me. He started to move me. He started to take me to places I never thought possible. In my life, Jesus is the formula. Jesus takes less than and turns it into more than. He takes ordinary and he does extraordinary. He took what was dead in me and turned it into a thirst for life. I have learned to fail and to fail often because Jesus is 100% in control. Jesus first, obedience second, and never look back. For me, amazing is not a destination. Amazing is the journey. To those that have been given much, much will be expected. I am the prodigal son, and Jesus opened his arms and loved me all the way back home. I am Job. The devil had his way with me, and at rock bottom, I still called out to Jesus. Jesus is the truth and the light, and I live my life to one day see a smile. That's a testimony. We all have different places in our life where we came to that moment. For me, it was 2018. I was in my 40s, so I wasn't a young man. I've always known God. I've served at my church. I've always tithed. I've always tried to help and be a good person. But as a man, it was 2018 where me and Jesus had a head-on collision. And I always think back because December 23rd, 2018 was a very specific day in my life. It's a day that if God wouldn't have stopped me, I don't know if I'd be here today. Some of us get to those points where you feel sometimes that maybe you're worth more to people if maybe you're not around. I would tell you you're wrong. I would tell you I thought that way. And Jesus came in and he told me, I'm not done with you yet. I've got some big plans. I just needed you to get to the point where you would get out of your own way and let me in. I love Jesus. And one day I hope when I take that last breath here that I get to see his smile. And I hope that he says, good job, well done. I do strive for that. I try and help people. It's changed who I am. It changed how I do business. It changed the direction of my business and how I think. It changed my marriage. I have an incredible marriage. It changed how I talk to my sons. Life ain't perfect. Let's don't get it wrong. But I have a different understanding. I have a different outlook. I have a different trajectory of where I'm going and what I'm doing. When I say that the best of my life is every day still in front of me, I truly believe that. I don't believe that Jesus is done with me yet. I like to think that he's just getting started. So my name is Rich Hanlin. That is my testimony. I'm going to see how this turns out, because maybe this will be the first testimony of our new channel for Lenders in Faith. What I'm hoping is that other people might consider either coming on the show and giving their testimony and talking about their faith and what it means to them. Or maybe they might send in their testimonies and we'd be happy to read them if you'd allow us to, because I believe that when a man professes his faith and his testimony out in the open, that it is a very, very powerful movement that can take place. We weren't meant to hold it all in and hide it from each other. And look, I get that not everybody's going to like it. I can take it. Give me your best, give me your worst in the comments, maybe give you your testimony in the comments. But I'm not perfect, guys, but I know what I am. I'm saved. I love Jesus with all my heart. I accepted his gift, which was free, which was forgiveness for my sins. And I live every day to say yes. Before I get out of bed, before I put my feet on the ground, I kind of get up and I just say a quick yes. And people say, whoa, you don't know what God's going to ask you. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm telling him, yes, have your way, because I want your smile on my life and nothing else matters. That is true freedom. And I hope every single one of you can one day feel that incredible feeling and power when you just let Jesus have his way. All right, checking out. We'll see how this goes. And I look forward to hearing some more testimonies, because your testimonies build me up and vice versa. And that's how we do this together. All right, take care, everybody.